Welcome to Business with Louis, the show where we break down complex business concepts into actionable insights that you can use to grow your career or venture. I'm your host, Louis Riskwiser, and today we're going to explore one of the most fundamental principles in economics, supply and demand. But seriously, understanding supply and demand is crucial for any business or entrepreneur looking to succeed in today's competitive landscape. So, what is supply and demand? In straightforward terms, it refers to the relationship between the quantity of a product or service that suppliers are willing to sell, supply, and the quantity that buyers are willing to buy, demand. When the supply of a product meets its demand, we reach equilibrium, the sweet spot where businesses can maximize their profits. The concept of supply and demand has been around for centuries, dating back to the works of Adam Smith, who first described it in his book, The Wealth of Nations. Since then, economists like Alfred Marshall and John Maynard Keynes have built upon this foundation, refining our understanding of how supply and demand interact. The law of supply states that as the price of a product increases, suppliers will produce more of it, assuming all other factors remain constant. Conversely, the law of demand states that as the price of a product decreases, buyers will purchase more of it. But here's the thing, these laws aren't set in stone. They're influenced by factors like consumer preferences, income levels, and technological advancements. As governments began to offer incentives for EV adoption and consumers became more environmentally conscious, demand for EVs skyrocketed. In response, suppliers like Tesla and Volkswagen increased production to meet this growing demand. Today, we're seeing a surge in investment in EV technology, with companies like Rivian and Lucid Motors entering the market. In the early 20th century, De Beers faced a challenge. Diamonds were plentiful, but demand was low. To create an illusion of scarcity and drive up prices, De Beers launched a brilliant marketing campaign that positioned diamonds as rare and exclusive. By limiting supply and creating artificial demand, De Beers was able to increase diamond prices and establish itself as a leader in the market. But supply and demand isn't just about manipulating markets. It's also about understanding your target audience and adjusting your strategy accordingly. You notice that demand for specialty coffee is on the rise, but there's already a saturated market in your area. Instead of competing directly with established players, you could focus on creating unique blends or offering exceptional customer service to differentiate yourself. According to research by McKinsey, companies that effectively manage their supply chains and respond to changes in demand can see significant improvements in revenue and profitability. In fact, a study by the Harvard Business Review found that firms that adapted quickly to shifts in demand were more likely to achieve sustainable growth and outperform their competitors. So, how can you apply supply and demand in your own business or career? First, understand your target market and the competition. Identify areas where demand is high and supply is low, and look for opportunities to fill those gaps. Second, be aware of changes in market trends and adjust your strategy accordingly. If you're selling a product that's becoming increasingly popular, consider increasing production or raising prices to capitalize on the trend. However, it's also important to recognize the challenges of supply and demand. For instance, if you're a small business owner, you might struggle to compete with larger companies that have more resources and economies of scale. To overcome this, focus on differentiating your product or service and building strong relationships with your customers. Consider partnering with other businesses or leveraging technology to streamline your operations and reduce costs. In addition, it's crucial to stay up to date with market research and analytics tools to better understand your target audience and anticipate changes in demand. According to a report by Gartner, companies that use data analytics to inform their supply chain decisions are more likely to achieve higher levels of customer satisfaction and revenue growth. In conclusion, supply and demand is a powerful concept that can help you make informed decisions in business and entrepreneurship. By understanding how supply and demand interact, you can create effective marketing strategies, optimize production, and stay ahead of the competition. Remember, every successful business starts with a deep understanding of its target market and the dynamics of supply and demand. As the renowned economist Milton Friedman once said, "The great virtue of a free market system is that it does not care what color people are. It does not care what religion people are. It only cares whether they can produce something that other people will buy." Go out there and produce something that people will buy, and always keep your eye on the intersection of supply and demand. That's it for today's Business with Louis. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And remember, every great business starts with action. Make your next move count.